And let me go ahead and okay, so good morning, everyone. And from what I gather is a chilly morning for a lot of us. So hopefully you are all able to stay warm today. So I apologize, I think I went too far on my slides. Okay, so welcome to today's meeting, PAC meeting. And we are going to start off with the executive committee reports. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Maria Tampa Ramos, and I am this year's PAC president, and I welcome you all to this meeting. So just some of the things, some updates since our last meeting of things that I've been working on. I met with student council to see how PAC and SECO can partner on initiatives this year, this semester, especially since we're virtual. I'm also continuing to participate as a member of a small working group of the Transition Task Force, and I will be presenting the PAC updates at the board meeting on Wednesday. And also, I will be meeting with the senior banquet venue along with the vice president. That's some of the upcoming things. And so also, if I could ask if everybody who is not speaking could put themselves on mute and then unmute when you are. I really appreciate that. Okay, next up we have Kathy Williams, our vice president. Kathy? I think she might be muted. Kathy? Okay. Kathy, is that you? Okay. Next, we'll go to Alex Williams, our treasurer.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Just have a very brief treasurer report to share, if you want to advance the slide. So you can see the current balances on the right-hand side of the slide. And I just want to call attention to a couple things for awareness. I think probably most people are aware of how the bus service and the senior banquet budgets work. But these are both of these budgets. We raise revenue based on the services. Is that just my feedback?
Yeah, I'm going to mute anybody that. Okay. Alex?
Okay.
Okay,
I
great.
think we lost the feedback. Great. So I just want to call attention to both the bus service and the senior banquet accounts, because both of those accounts we raise revenue based off the actual services that we'll need. And so what I'm showing here for all three budgets are the expenses we anticipate. And so for those two accounts, the bus service and the senior banquet, if we don't incur the expense, we won't have a need to raise the corresponding revenue. So those two accounts are out. So these are representative of if we had full expenses. So I just want to call that out. In addition, all three budgets, we do currently have reserve balances. And so those reserve balances will be moved into a savings account that is pending for that to be set up. So the net result of all of that will be, as we continue to share the budget report moving forward, we'll be reporting on actual versus expected expenses. So very healthy budget though. And so if we have bus services or the senior banquet, then those amounts will begin to raise revenue there and corresponding expenses. So I'll pause there to see if there's any questions.
I just want to make a comment. This is Robin Abend, and I think this is a great presentation, Alex. Thank you so much for including this.
You're welcome, Robin. I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And also, as Alex has pointed out, we do have a healthy budget, and obviously we'll have more expenditures once some of these programs get rolling. So thank you very much. Next, we have Kyle, Secretary.
Good morning, everyone. I have nothing to report, so we can keep moving along.
Thank you, Kyle, and thanks for getting our slides together. And next we have Aldwin. Aldwin, are you on?
Yes, I am here. I have nothing to report as well.
Thank you, Aldwin. Next we have Katerina. Katerina, are you on the call? Okay. Let me check if she is on. Okay. It doesn't look like she has hopped on the call yet, but Katerina is working on different ways to get the parents of sophomores together. I know she's reached out to some different people, and she's planning to have a couple of meetings with the parents of sophomores. So parents of sophomores, please be on the lookout for that. She'll be sending out information shortly. Okay, next we will present leadership committee reports, and the first is the academic committee, which is Moju, Gabrielle, and Kathleen.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'll walk us through these couple of slides that we do have as an update and reminders. So this is just giving you our email address. If you need to get in touch with the three of us, you can just use this email address. On the next slide, perfect. Just a reminder that final exams were sent out, and it's posted. The students have it. It's also just a reminder that, you know, check the link that was there, because there might be minor changes posted. So make sure that you have the most up-to-date program. Also wanted to remind the parents and the students that the program for asking for an advocate is there for all students, particularly sophomore students, that they need to figure out their way through if they're struggling, if there's any issues. So they could always reach out and ask for an advocate. So an advocate helps them kind of sort of like a check-in and make sure that if they need to figure out whatever support they need, the advocate would be their person to go to. So it's available for them to use. And the person who's running it is Anita White, so you can reach out to her in that way. The other reminder was that the applications for the spring tutors is going out, and will be sent out, and for the juniors and seniors who are eligible for putting an application to become a tutor for the spring semester. And the other thing that we wanted to, or the academic committee at school actually wanted to remind, was that work with the tutors. One of the nice thing that the Writing Center tutors do is that they actually assign the tutors to the sophomore literary exploration and American study classes. So these students actually attend these classes with the sophomores. So they're very in tune with the assignments that they have, and with the expectations of the teachers from them. So it's very easy for them to help. My daughter is one of those tutors, so she knows I can tell that you know, it's a very helpful program for having the students attend these classes so that they're right in and helping out with the sophomore programs. On the next slide, also the principal's office wanted to remind everybody for the seniors to put in their orders for their caps and gowns, and do the deadline, to have a deadline in December. Another thing to bring up about the tablets, everybody has received their tablets, And there were questions about the cost. This is provided to the students at no cost, given the fact that they will be their loaners and they need to be returned to school in working conditions at the end of the school year. So if they get lost or they get broken, then it will be a cost at the cost to the parents. But just for using it, there's no having it. There's no fees at this time. So at any time. And then one last point to bring up is the academic committee. We realize that there are a lot of people interested to be involved or work with our group. So we are setting up a meeting to meet with everybody next week and to collaborate with all the people that are interested. And if you're interested to attend, let us know and we'll make sure that we extend the invitation to you as well. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Moju.
Sure.
Next, we have Student Life Committee, and the chairs are Audrey and Maria.
Hi, everybody. This is Maria, the other, speaking real quick on behalf of Audrey and myself. I just wanted to say good morning and to let you know that the Wing Parent Program is temporarily under construction, meaning that we just got done with our meeting that we had at 9 o'clock to talk about really great wing parent things that we will be doing. So worry not. We had a lovely meeting with Stephanie Broy, who is one of the RCs in 06, and she kind of gave us a heads up on what they're doing that we hope to share with you at some point prior to the end of the semester, all of the parents of IMSA, and to work on the Wing Parent Program. So everything is kind of going along as best as possible in this remote state, and we are gathering ideas from our fantastic 47 wing parents who have given of their time and their energies. We call them IMSA's coolest parents. Anyway, if you are interested in still being a part of the program, there is time for you to hop on to the Wing Parent Program. You can email us at pacstulife@gmail.com. It's listed right there on the slide. And also, if you want a chance to see what lingo is going on, now that you've had a couple of months under your belt of your student under your nose at IMSA, you can pop on that link in here and maybe translate a little bit of what they're saying. But other than that, we're thrilled that you're here and happy to welcome any new wing parents that want to be a part of the program. And I think that's all we have.
Thank you, Maria. And next we have Hospitality Committee, Svetlana and Danica.
Hi, this is Danica. I just wanted to say hi from Svetlana. She couldn't be here today. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to report, but as soon as we're able to do hospitality for any event, I guarantee you we will be very excited.
Thank you very much, Danica. And next we have Friday Fest Committee. We have Robin, Gabriella, and Missy.
Hello, this is Robin. We'll stay on this slide for just a moment. You already know who we are, but I just want to mention that in a typical year, our whole IMSA community would have experienced 2 of these amazing Friday Fest cycles before Thanksgiving break. And one of the things that we know is that without this, the IMSA parents are missing out not only on the social experience, but also on learning the logistical side of how these events are organized and carried out. We all know that IMSA will publish its repopulation plans later this month. And even if the students do return to campus, we know that Friday Fest will be significantly scaled back. Eventually, though, the pandemic will be behind us and the parents will again fill the school with delicious offerings. So in anticipation of that, you can go to the next slide. We would like to offer parents a virtual look into a typical Friday Fest year so that we are ready to pick back up when things do return to normal. So please join me and my 2 co-chairs for a Friday Fest presentation on Tuesday, November 17th at 7 p.m. Missy has just posted a link to a Google form in the chat window where you can RSVP. I had a chance to run through this presentation with a couple of parents this past week. And so that was great. And I got some good feedback. So I'm even tweaking it a little bit over the weekend to make it even better for you. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work to put together a virtual view into what Friday Fest is. But I think you'll enjoy it. It's going to take place via Google Meets. So once you've RSVP'd, I will send the Google Meets link to everyone on Tuesday afternoon before the meeting. If for some reason you can't see the chat window today because maybe you're listening while you're driving, please do email me directly. You can find my email address in the PowerSchool directory. My last name, Abend, is spelled A-B-E-N-D. So when you get to your final destination, you can look me up. Our Tuesday presentation will be a little under an hour, and it will be a perfect introduction for anyone interested in joining the Friday Fest committee. We are currently seeking 3 to 4 parents who can help with exploring Friday Fest options once IMSA shares its repopulation plans, and then those who will continue learning the ropes on what traditional Friday Fest looks like. So if we go to our last slide, I just want to announce that our next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, December 8th at 7 p.m. It's going to be open to everyone. And by then we will know what IMSA's repopulation plan looks like, so we can start discussing realistically what our options for second semester might be. I will send out confirmation of the meeting date to all IMSA parents the week before. And of course, we'll announce it at the next PAC meeting, which is currently scheduled for December 5th. If I'm wrong about that, Maria, just correct me. I look forward to seeing many of you this coming Tuesday evening. Please RSVP in the chat window. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. And we will also share that link in the follow-up email that will be sent out with the recording as well.
Awesome.
So thank you for that. And yes, it is December 5th, our next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Senior Banquet Committee, Kathy, would you please share on that? Okay, I'm not sure if she's.
Okay, here I am. Good morning, everyone. The Senior Banquet Committee, we still are looking for someone to chair the committee. However, I do have a few names of people, and we might just act as all co-chairs on the committee. So I will be reaching out to them. But we still would need volunteers. The activities of the Senior Banquet really start to ramp up in December and January. That's when we really start to do a lot of the planning. So it's not too late to sign up. The email is imsapac@gmail.com if you're able to help out, and all kinds of volunteers are needed for registration, party planning, just a coordination, any talent that you have, or if you're like me with no talent, it still works out too. So please email me at the imsapac@gmail.com if you're able to help out. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And next we have Transportation Committee. We have Abhijit and Jill.
Hi, good morning. Abhijit here. We don't have any significant updates since our last update that we had. At this point, we're just keeping an eye on the IMSA communication. So if and when we are ready to go back to the campus, I will be communicating, well, Jill and I will be communicating with the bus companies and making sure that the transportation is available. Jill won't be attending this meeting today.
Thank you, Abhijit. And next we have Technology Committee.
Good morning, everyone. There are no updates from the Technology Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Facebook groups moderator, Jim. Are you on the call? Okay. I don't know if he's able to unmute. So his update is that Facebook group currently has 491 members. If you are not a member yet and would like to join, the link is there. And he'll just verify that you're a parent of an active IMSA student. So definitely join if you have an opportunity to, because that's where conversations happen in between meetings as well. Okay. Regional representative. So I'm going to ask Kathy to give an update on that as well.
So we will be having a meeting after this PAC meeting for the regional reps. My hope is that we can share some ideas about how to bring parents together, maybe during the holidays, or try to get something going just to connect everyone. I still have some open regions here, Region 2, Region 4, and Region 7. So if you could send me an email if you're interested in being a regional rep, I really would appreciate it. And any of the other regions will probably need help as well. So I would say that if you are interested in signing up on any of the regions, please send an email. But we are having a meeting after this PAC meeting. So if you would like to even attend that, feel free to send me an email and I can send you the link and you can join in. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Okay, and next we have Julia, who will give us an update from the College and Academic Counseling Center, which is CAC. So Julia.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Maria. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Julia Houston. I'm the coordinator of College and Academic Counseling team. I am also one of 4 college and academic counselors. So here's my team. You can see in front of you. We also have a registrar who is not pictured here, Mr. Abraham. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about are the webinars. Oh, it's all together. Okay, that's good. That's fine. So all the webinars so in any given year, my team delivers, let me count quickly, it's 5 plus 6, so 11 webinars. So the webinars that we already delivered are posted on the CAC website. So please, if you haven't had a chance to join us live, you can always go back and review them. And there are upcoming webinars that I posted there. My webinar is scheduled for next Tuesday, and the webinar is for sophomore and junior parents. And I'll talk about standardized testing. And then we will have another webinar in December, as you can see, and my colleague Cara Mollenhaus will deliver that webinar to senior parents. And then I will deliver my final webinar for this semester, will be also in December for junior parents as we begin the college exploration process with juniors. The parents will be for junior parents. The profile, the 2021 IMSA profile is also posted on the CAC website. And the reason why I am encouraging everybody to take a look at that profile, that document, the profile, is actually sent with every single college application that we submit on students' behalf. So when we provide supporting documents for our seniors, transcripts, secondary school reports, letters of recommendations, every single high school must include a profile. So you will know what the profile looks like. And the profile gives colleges a sense of how sophisticated that high school is. Like I said before, every single high school has a profile. So the IMSA profile is on the CAC website. In terms of meetings and testing, well, I'm not going to go again into details about the PSAT. I think I sent some information in October for the PAC meeting that I couldn't attend. The new information on this slide is about APs. I did purchase AP exams last week, and so we purchased 795 exams to be taken by 303 students. So I also gave you numbers from last year so you can compare. So as you can see, we had more students last year. However, they took fewer exams. So this year, our students are taking more AP exams. I also forgot, I apologize, I probably wrote my information, sent it too quickly to Maria. There are a couple other things I would like to let you know about. So senior parents know that we meet with all of our seniors 3 times in the fall on the 1st of each month. So we already held an October meeting and November meeting. Our December senior class meeting is coming on December 1st. So the meeting is for students. So I do not send invite to parents. However, I always send a recap. So all the information that we talk about at the meeting to parents and students to make sure that parents know what we talked about. So the senior class meeting, our last one of the year, so we only have 3 of them, all in the fall, is going to take place on December 1st, and we meet during midday break. So from 11:35 until about 12 o'clock. And there's one more meeting that is upcoming, and the meeting will be with our sophomores on November 30th on Monday. All CACs, 4 CACs are going to meet with assigned to them sophomores for the first time. And the point and the purpose for that meeting for us to start the conversation about the course registration process for junior year. So on November 30th, excuse me, at 2:30. So I will meet with assigned to me sophomores. My colleagues will do the same, and we'll walk them through the course catalog. We'll tell them about the logistics behind choosing courses. We'll ask them to start thinking about their 3-year plan. So we ask all of our sophomores to map out their academic career at IMSA. And then the real course registration process will begin actually in January and will conclude by March 1. And I'll give you more information during our next PAC meetings. One more thing about the CAC website. So I saw that Katie encouraged everybody to check out the IMSA profile, but also please check out the quarterly CAC newsletter. So I send newsletter to all of our parents and students 4 times a year. So the fall one is already posted on the CAC website. So again, if you didn't have a chance to read it when I send it, make sure that you refer to the CAC website to get more information about our work. And then the very final piece of information on the slide that you see is just a little kind of a cute statistics. And I know our senior parents are always eager to know, so what's going on with our senior class. So I just gave you comparison side by side between a senior class of this year and graduate class of 2020. Now, you also need to remember the class of 2020 was larger. So we had 220 seniors. The class of 2021 is 202 seniors. So there are 18 students fewer. However, as you can see, the numbers are pretty similar. The early decision numbers clearly are larger for the last year's class, but let's see what happens with the early decision to see how many of our students will choose that option. Most, but not all, early decisions will come in December. And the reason why I'm saying not all is because many colleges, due to COVID, moved their notifications to later date. For instance, University of Urbana-Champaign always notified early applicants by December 5th. And this year they moved their notification date to February for all early applicants. So that's all for me. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Are there any questions, Maria?
There's none in the chat. Go ahead.
I had a quick one. I was going to type it in, but I just unmuted myself. With the changes of the early decision dates, does that negatively affect those that are doing regular decisions then? Because now they have to wait longer, or does that have no impact?
Miss, I didn't understand the question. Ask the question again.
You said like U of I used to
I see.
The action early, now it's February. How does
yes
it affect the kids that are waiting to know for then the next steps?
Yes. So I don't anticipate. So the reason why colleges will, in particular U of I, move to the February notification is probably because not having grades second semester is going to take them longer to evaluate files, and especially at such a large university as University of Urbana-Champaign, where they will get 40,000 applications. So I mean, clearly it's not ideal. We always wanted our students, IMSA students, to go home for winter break, and knowing their fate at University of Urbana-Champaign is not going to happen this year, but it's just an odd year. We just have to live with that. So and I think the reason, like I said, my hunch is the reason for that is because it's going to take colleges longer to evaluate students' applications. But University of Urbana-Champaign is the only example that I can give you so far. No other university notified us yet, telling us that they will delay their early notifications. Did I answer your question, Missy?
Yes, thank you. I just didn't know if it would bump up against the next tier.
Well,
and-
the next, so the April 1. So April 1 is the notification due date for all regular, for all colleges with the regular decision due date. So if a college has a January due date, then traditionally, and that hasn't changed and will not change, April 1 will be the date for our students to know their admission status. Mhm.
Julia.
Mhm.
Hi, this is Alex Williams. Quick question. Is a potential PSAT offering in January completely off the table for IMSA, or is that decision still pending?
We cannot, so high school cannot administer 2 PSATs and MSQT. So we administered ours in October. So like I said, I didn't go into the PSAT detail just because I felt like I already spoke about it so many times. Now, the students still have an option to qualify for the national merit by simply following the steps on the College Board website. You also can contact, Alex, you can contact your students' former high school and see if they will administer a January PSAT and MSQT and see if you want to sign up there as well. But a student can only take one PSAT and MSQT test, and a high school can only administer it once.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. Any other questions?
Okay, I think in the chat, there was a question about when do PSAT results get posted, and I see that you have it
December,
on
yeah, in
here.
December, yep.
Yeah.
I think I
Yep,
wrote it there
December.
in the slide, yep. Mhm.
Okay, and then there's another question about IMSA hosting SAT in March.
Yeah, we do not know anything yet about that because we do not know whether or not IMSA is going to be live or not. So I cannot answer that question at the moment.
But the registration is open, Julia, for
Yes,
IMSA.
yes, absolutely. The College Board registration is open, right? So yes, absolutely. The registrations are open. It's
For
just, I don't
March
know if
at IMSA, yeah.
Huh? Oh,
It's
so
open for
IMSA is
March at
listed.
IMSA. Yes,
So IMSA is
IMSA
listed as a.
yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I mean, if we're not live, well, then we cannot be live, right?
Oh,
If we
okay. I
cannot
think for
administer.
March and June, IMSA is a site. For
Well,
both.
June we
No,
were
maybe
never a
May,
test site.
yeah.
We were never a test site in
No,
June.
then it's
So
March.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow up. Thank you for letting me know, Gabby. I'm going to follow up with our test site coordinator. It's not me. We have a person who oversees that, and I'll make sure that she communicates with the College Board and letting them know that we do not know yet if we will.
I signed Julia for March at IMSA.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah.
Right. Okay, very good, very good. Thank you so much for letting me know. I will follow up.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any more questions for Yulia? Well, thank you for giving us those updates, Yulia.
Thank
We
you
really
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and now we have updates from Student Council. So we have Pranav Manoj, who is a Student Council Cabinet member with us today, who will be sharing these updates. Welcome, Pranav.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Pranav. I'm currently an IMSA junior, and just to give a quick introduction about what Student Council actually does at IMSA, we collect student body opinions and complaints and any concerns that they have. And we communicate directly with Katie, who I think is in this call, and IMSA's administration and board. So any of the big policy changes that happen regarding residential life or academics usually is done by Student Council. And over the past few years, Student Council hasn't been able to partner up with PAC for as many events as we'd liked in the past. We'd like to change that this year. I know that PAC has done some work with CAB, which is our Campus Activities Board, and we'd like to start collaborating with PAC as well. And in our past meeting, I think we discussed a clothing fundraiser, which would raise money for both PAC and Student Council. Since that meeting, we've had a couple discussions, and we thought that it would be great to pursue the regional events that I think was mentioned during this meeting, and kind of using that as a fundraiser for both PAC and Student Council We talked with Brittany and Andrea Stoiber, who should be here in around 25 minutes. So I think they can elaborate on that. But yeah, it's exciting to work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. And I had the pleasure of attending one of their meetings, and was just very amazed at everything that all of you in Student Council and CAB have on your plates, and also for all the initiatives that you two are trying to accomplish in this environment. So we thank you for giving us those updates today, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have updates from the Campus Activities Board, CAP, and we have Jalen Abdullah here representing CAP. So Jalen?
Hello, I'm Jalen Abdullah. I am an IMSA senior, and then as it says on the slideshow, I am the CAB director. So just a little bit like looking into my responsibilities, I help make campus events, right? Because we want to make sure that every student and every like parent is happy, they have things to go to, they have a fun time at IMSA, because I want to create those memories that is everlasting. So that kind of goes into my next thing. CAB's next event for the students is on the 20th, and that's CAB's Turkey Gobbler Extravaganza. So this is primarily for the students, but it adds on to the weekend. So on Saturday, November 21st, from 7:30 to 9 p.m. is going to be a Zoom-hosted family feud. How it's going to work is that you and as many family members as you want can just hop in the Zoom. We'll pair you with another family, and then you just go one-on-one playing a family feud. If you know what Family Feud is a cool trivia game where you can pretty much just, it's one question, and you have to answer the question with like a topic. So for example, it's like, what's everyone's favorite color? And then some people might say reds, some people might say blue, and based off real life survey and like statistics, they base the points off of that. So it's a very fun game. You should definitely participate. And if you want to participate, definitely email Brittany Walker at bwalker1@imsa.edu to register for a game slot. Each game will probably run for about 20 minutes with 10 minutes buffer in between. So that means that you should probably register as soon as possible so you make sure you have space for that. And then in addition to that, our last game will be hosted, we'll start at 8:30. So just keep that in mind when signing up. And I'm glad to work with PAC this year. And in addition to that, I just want to say a big shout out to all the presentations that you saw before. It was really well organized, and everyone appreciates everyone's work here. So thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to the PAC meeting.
Thank you for joining us today. And again, thank you so much for the CAB for everything that you're doing for the students and the families at IMSA. So we look forward to partnering with you as well. So thank you. And next, we have updates from IMSA. We have Katie Berger, our Chief Student Affairs Officer, here to give us these updates. Welcome, Katie.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Maria. It is an absolute delight to be here with all of you today as I continue to find myself working in isolation. It's nice to be surrounded by friendly and familiar faces. And I definitely want to thank Pranav and Jalen for getting up on Saturday morning and joining us and sharing updates. It's nice to hear what's going on with students from the perspective of students, because I think we can all agree that as employees at IMSA, as adults and as parents, our perspective can sometimes be a little bit different, and it's always valuable to hear directly from the students about what's important to them and what they're working on. So again, thank you to Jalen and Pranav for being here. I also just want to once again applaud you all as PAC. I've been absolutely blown away this year by your creativity and your energy and your commitment to making lemonade out of lemons. And I keep hearing about this committee is meeting this day, and there's this executive committee meeting that night, and we've invited this employee who has expertise in this area. And I just I'm so appreciative, because I think that it says a lot about you all as a team and your willingness to kind of step forward as opposed to step back at this time, and your willingness to engage people from around the academy to have more robust conversations. And in the 5-ish years that I've been involved with PAC, I've seen more communication this year and more inclusion of IMSA staff and IMSA students. And I'm just incredibly grateful for that, because I think it makes a big difference. We did send out our student affairs newsletter yesterday, so hopefully all of you received that. And if you didn't, this is a great opportunity for you to let me know. I do understand that at the last PAC meeting, there were a few parents in attendance who said, yeah, I didn't get that. And so you had the opportunity to kind of send me an email and follow up. So please do that and let me know so that we can look into what created that error and help solve it for the future. The newsletter is always jam-packed with a lot of information, so definitely check that out. At the top, we've summarized some of the upcoming events. And actually happening right now is the TEDx Youth at IMSA event. So I will put that link in the chat for all of you. So that way, if you want to, when we're done with this meeting, you have the ability to kind of pop in and check that out. It's streaming live right now, but you're able to start it from the beginning and view the presentations from our students and an outside presenter, as well as Dr. Anita White, who is kind of a cornerstone and key member within the IMSA team. I actually have TEDx on my other screen right now, because just like when we're on campus, there's always lots going on and lots to kind of keep an eye on. I won't go too much into the other upcoming events that we have, because Ms. Brittany Walker, who is our coordinator of student activities, is going to actually be joining us in just a few minutes and presenting on some of those upcoming events. And I know Jalen previewed some of them as well. So I'll be brief about that. One thing that I will say, though, is a priority for us right now. You know, we have really tried some different things as far as engaging your students, whether it be socially, whether it be for educational programming. And one of our areas of opportunity is that most of those engagement points have really been in some way connected to the screen. And some of that is the limitations that we have, not being physically present with one another. And I will say, again, without going into too much detail or spoiling anything that Brittany might be sharing about what we're working on right now, we're really trying to think about some creative ways to have engagement for our students with their peers away from the screen. And we're excited to try some new things and looking forward to getting feedback from all of you, because some of the things are going to be great and some of them aren't going to be so great, and we'll just need to know that. But our commitment to you is that we're going to just keep trying different things. So look out for more coming soon. As I believe you're all aware and hope you're all aware, the next Board of Trustees meeting is this coming Wednesday, November 18th. So as is practice, the agenda is released the week before the board meeting occurs. So this past Wednesday, the agenda was posted on Board Docs, as well as the link to join. And so the open session begins at 9:05 a.m. We will be discussing the repopulation plan during that meeting, and a presentation of the decision for the spring semester. The board has delegated that decision to Dr. Torres. And so we all will tune in to that meeting. You're welcome to be there. And of course, we'll send out communications following that meeting once we know from Dr. Torres and from the board of what our direction is for the spring. I heard some mentions of the spring calendar, you know, with standardized testing and things like that. Are these tests happening? What's going on? I would say don't even worry about the spring calendar until next week. Being totally transparent with you, we have a few different versions of the spring calendar in the works, dependent on what we learn about the repopulation timeline. And so our hope is to release that spring calendar at the end of next week for all of you. So if, you know, I know that means waiting a little bit longer, but what we really want to do is make sure that you have the accurate information. And so we need all of the right information to be able to update that document and provide a clear plan for you for that spring semester. So hang tight on the spring calendar, look out for that at the end of next week, because as many of you are creating plans for different scenarios, we're doing the same in a lot of ways. As we are getting closer to the end of the second semester, I just want to provide a couple of reminders and helpful hints for you as parents as you're supporting your students academically. One thing that some students have shared with me has been really helpful, and some RCs have kind of reinforced, is that some of our colleagues have created a peer tutor Discord. So if you're familiar with Discord, you know that a lot of our students are using it to communicate with their halls and with their wings and with their peers and with their clubs. There actually is a Discord created for academic support, and there's, you know, a strand for each class at IMSA, and it's an opportunity to kind of log on live and engage. And so I would say, ask your student, you know, have you heard of this? Is that something that would be helpful for you as another option, as another resource? Miss Amy Keck, who is our learning strategies coordinator, and who provides a lot of great support in particular to our sophomore students, is actually going to start hosting I-Day study hours for sophomores. They're going to be, I believe, from 10 a.m. to 11:30. This was like decided on Thursday, so it's hot off the presses. Just as an opportunity for students to kind of come together and have some more structure and some support in studying. So we know some of our students are really great at self-managing and they don't need that structure, they don't need that support, and some of our students benefit from that. So I want to put that out there because you know your student, you know your kids. So if that would be something helpful for them, encourage them to take advantage of it. And talking to some of the RCs are doing or will be starting to do study hours, not required for the students in their hall. But again, if it's important for you to kind of have that time blocked on your calendar and have some support of other people doing their work at the same time, those are things that we can certainly put in place for the structure and the accountability. The last thing that I'll say is that I am available if you have a question, if you have a need, if you want to talk, send me an email, call. You're going to get my voicemail more than likely. I'm just being honest because I'm not in the office every day, but I get my voicemail to my email so I can call you back. You can always email me to set up a time to talk or email Minerva Ratsamy in our office and set up a time. There's a lot of questions right now. There's a lot of uncertainty and students are experiencing MSA in a whole new way. And so I want to make sure that just because we're not physically together with the students, that you still know that we're available and happy to talk to you about what's going on with your student and what you are witnessing or experiencing as a parent, or what would be helpful for you. And I feel like I say this every month, but we guess what to put in the newsletter based on what we think you might want to know. And so we're always very open to your feedback about things that would be helpful for us to include, because you're the target audience and your students are the target audience. So please let us know what we can do, what we can tell you about to serve you better. Maria, that's all that I'm going to share as far as updates. If there are questions, though, I'm happy to answer the questions. And I think Brittany will probably be here in a couple of minutes if she's not here already. And then I know she has a great program prepared as well to share some of the things that are going on with our students for fun outside of the academic classroom.
Okay, so yes, I will give it a couple minutes if there are parents that have questions for Katie.
Someone is asking for the link for the board meeting on Wednesday.
I see that one. I'm trying to get it to load on my other screen right now. So I will pull that and send it to you. So I'm going to send you the link for board docs first. There's the board docs link, and then the Zoom link if you'd like to join is coming next. Okay. All right, what other questions can I answer this morning? I will also say that for those of you who are maybe not as familiar with Zoom, if you're on your computer, in the chat feature, there is a way too that you can directly message someone. So if you have a question that you would prefer not to ask in front of everyone, feel free to direct message me and I can direct message you back. I know sometimes that's more comfortable for people too.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing all those updates, Katie. And again, Katie, if you wouldn't mind putting your email address in the chat box as well.
Of course.
So, no, thank you. So again, as she said before, if you aren't receiving the student affairs newsletters that they send out, feel free to email her if you have any questions. Okay. So thank you for that. And next, I'll just discuss, if you are interested in volunteering in any of these committees, please fill out this form. And I know that many of you had filled out the form earlier this year, and so we do apologize that there was a delay for some communication going out to you. As you are well aware, this is a very different year, so some of the programs are not able to get started just yet, but there are a lot of committees that are starting to roll out with meetings. So keep your eye out for emails from those different committee chairs. And just know that if you did sign up before, we do have your information, but feel free to fill out again if you're not 100% sure if you signed up. And we'll definitely get the committee chairs to reach out to you just to let you know what the update is, even if it's just that we're in a holding pattern for right now, because some of these committees can't really do anything until whenever that looks like back on campus. Okay, thank you. And let's see. The next PAC meeting is on Saturday, December 5th, and it is at 10 a.m. And as with this one, we will send out the Zoom links a little bit closer along with the agenda. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at theimsapac@gmail.com if you have any questions or suggestions. And you can also visit the website, which is over here. It's under the Student Life umbrella on the IMSA website. And you'll find the recordings, which we're getting to them to get that posted on there, the recordings, but also a full contact list with the different committee chairs. So if you needed to reach out to anybody in particular, you have their information there. So now I'd like to open it up for any questions related to PAC or any of the committee chairs. Feel free to ask. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So, and I just also wanted to reiterate that some of the committee chairs have brought up, they do have some upcoming meetings coming up. So if you don't receive the Zoom link, if you sign up to be on a committee, you can just email theimsapac@gmail.com and we will get that information to the correct committee chairperson to get the information to you. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our speaker for this morning, Ms. Brittany Walker. So let me just over here. She is IMSA Coordinator of Campus Activities. So Brittany, are you ready to present?
I am. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right, everyone's able to see the student activity screen now? Yes, okay. So good morning, I'm Brittany Walker. I'm the coordinator of student activities, and this is my first year at IMSA. I'm super excited to be a part of such an amazing institution and kind of doing the thing that I love, which is student involvement, student engagement, and all things fun, as I like to call it. I'm going to briefly go over kind of what we do in student activities, in general, all the activities and involvement that your students can get involved in, but also there's going to be that spin of how things have been working in the remote setting and what we've been doing with them thus far and how we plan to move forward, whether it's in person or remotely. So bear with me, I'm gonna hopefully get the Zoom part of things going smoothly. So some quick things, we have 59 chartered clubs this year. We want to make sure that we are giving students the opportunity to be involved in extracurricular activities that are not going to take away from their academics, but enhance their overall academic experience, enhance their leadership, but not spread them so thin that they have 100 different things to choose from, and there's, you know, just too many things for students to even like look at. One of those things like going to a restaurant that has too many things on the menu and you just end up getting chicken and rice because it's just overwhelming. So we want to make sure that students are able to find like their thing and kind of focus their time and energy on just a couple of things that is not going to over consume their schedules, but also enhance their overall well-being and overall IMSA experience. A lot of the clubs, all of the clubs will be under the student council umbrella, but we also have co-curricular activities that I'm pretty sure a lot of your students are a part of. CAB, which I believe you heard from, but they're the ones who plan like the larger scale events and some of the more frequent events that happen on campus. And then another thing to point out is as of right now, the majority of our clubs have an executive board. So that's how their membership works. but all students are typically able to attend their GAs and events that they have. And I'll say for now, when we're having our activities calendar, which I hope that you're able to see from your students, but the activities calendar is always jam-packed with, evening activities and things for students to participate in a wide variety. So there may be general assembly membership meetings, or there may be actual movie nights or game nights, or discussions. There's just a variety of things for students to do in their free time whenever they do or can find free time. I wanted to show you all, I know this remote setting has been challenging, but I wanted to show you all that our clubs have been pretty active. So this is actually from our involvement fair. And these are literally just some screen grabs of, ways of getting connected with the different clubs and the different activities and events that they have planned moving forward. Again, this is going to encompass both in person and remote, but I just wanted you to know that, like, in case you're wondering, there's so much action and activity still happening through the Student Affairs Department with our clubs and organizations, but they're definitely still trying to, move forward with all of the plans that they had and trying to just, flip the switch and make it remote. But there are definitely things happening. Next, I wanted to kind of go over the different types of clubs and activities in case you were wondering, of these 59 clubs, what can my student get involved with? So I'm going to just briefly go over, I'm not going to read each description, but I really just wanted to show you, here are some, and these are not all for each category. This is not explaining all of them. These are just a few. So here are some of our co-curricular activities. So you have Scholastic Bowl, there's speech and debate, drama, Mu Alpha Theta, which is our math society, the acronym, which is going to be like our school newspaper and yearbook, and just lots of variety there. We have clubs focused on politics and activism, and given the way the world has been this last 6 months or so, there's definitely a need for students to exercise their voice, hear from their peers, and kind of get a message that's not necessarily, from the media and, things like that. Like they have a way to engage and actively participate in discussions that are happening all around the world, but maybe it's right at IMSA, or maybe it's at all of your different communities that you live in. These are different ways for students to learn more about that. And then of course, the election that we just had, there's also a voice for students to, have their involvement in that as well. Given that we are the Illinois Mathematics and Science Academy, we definitely have programs for students in medical and STEM. So there's a variety of different ways for students to get involved in that. We have a psych club that's actually led by our school counselor. We have Nautilus, and we have just a variety, like I said, and all of these will definitely give you a variety. These next two kind of look at our peer multicultural education programs. And then there's also some in here that involve language, but we're looking to have students be well-rounded humans, and we want them to be involved in cultural experiences as well as just, understanding diversity and differences. So we have a variety of clubs that kind of emphasize, each cultural background that's represented at IMSA, and it allows students of that culture and background to kind of, get more involved in that, and for other IMSA students to learn more about different backgrounds. Continuing our culture or our peer multicultural education programs, we also want students to be mindful of a variety of diversity. So it's not just linked to culture and ethnicity, but we're looking at gender equality, and just having, ways for men, women, our male and female students to feel empowered in different ways. So these are additional clubs in that. For any of our artistic students, there's absolutely ways of getting involved outside of the classroom. So we have musical performers. So there's several students that come to us, having extensive music backgrounds, whether it's instrumental, if they were vocalists. So there's still ways of doing those things when you're at IMSA beyond the classroom. There's also some fun stuff in there too. K-pop club, I just became aware of what K-pop was a couple of years ago. It's quite fun. If you've never watched a K-pop video, I encourage you to do so after this meeting. It's confusing at first because it's all over the place and different languages and things like that, but it's very fun. Computer programming, we have a variety of programs for students to get involved with, and they are like hardcore tech programs. Like they, have access to so many different resources that will allow them to kind of be ahead of the wave. And this is in a lot of our extracurricular activities and of course in the classroom, but there's so many additional resources for students to be involved in that will help them get internships, that will help them when they're actually in, summer programs or any type of additional enrichments. They will already be prepared and probably far beyond a lot of other students with these additional co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Service learning is a huge component to being an IMSA student. And so in addition to that requirement, there are additional clubs that will allow students to give back to their community, whether it's by service hours or, doing fundraisers. There's lots of clubs that have fundraisers attached even beyond the service ones, but this allows students to kind of, give back to their community, get out, and this will come into play when we're talking about, this remote learning, period that we're in right now. Students are so tied to their laptops, their cell phones, whatever type of technology, they're always sitting in front of a screen. But there's clubs like Relay for Life and UNICEF that will get students, kind of beyond the screen and doing something. We have, they're not listed here, but we have Club Terra that will have students out literally in nature and doing things in their community to help overall better their communities. And I'm actually kind of happy that in the sense that we're not just focusing on the IMSA Aurora community as far as our community service and giving back. Now with you all kind of being at home, if your students are part of this, they're able to actually give back and do some things in their community locally. So it kind of gives the IMSA service spread a little bit farther reach. So these are some of the groups that didn't necessarily fit under one of the particular categories. So we're looking at, there's a history fair club. All of our foreign languages would fall under this, and this is beyond the classroom, of course. There's reading clubs, football, and what IMSA football as an example has done, instead of actually playing football on campus, playing, with their peers in a quick pickup game, they're able to sit and watch a Thursday night football game together and discuss it and have football talk, whatever that is. Additional clubs, one of my favorites, cooking club. I love to cook and I love to see and share recipes, which I'm so happy CAB is actually doing an event where it allows our faculty and staff to share some of their favorite recipes. Martial arts, a lot of our, movement and body classes are definitely, clubs are definitely a great opportunity for your students to focus on their overall health beyond the classroom as well. One thing I will say is Empower Fitness Club, they've been extremely active in helping students figure out ways of, bettering themselves from home. So these are not programs that are necessarily under student affairs, but they definitely are supportive resources for our students. ISP, anytime you've seen a student-led video, those beautiful productions, it's usually done by ISP if it wasn't done by just the campus administration itself. We definitely have, like I said, peer multicultural educators, and they have a lot of the culture and diversity and equity programs that are offered at the school. Many of your students have participated in talent, and right now there's a TEDx event, so TEDx Youth would fall under this category, but these are just organizations that are still activities outside of the classroom that students can participate in that may not be housed under student affairs or the student life office. I kind of wanted to end with this event, which I think you've already heard about. And I wasn't in the earlier part of the meeting because I was in TEDx, but I've received 5 emails in the last 30 minutes from people signing up for Family Feud. So I'm assuming that you guys just recently heard about it some kind of way, whether it was through CAB or through PAC. But yes, we want to encourage engagement not only of the student, but being an IMSA student, you are an IMSA family, and many of you all have more than one student at IMSA. So we know that you value the IMSA community. And so we wanted to make sure that just before our Thanksgiving holiday that we do something that, brings us together as much as possible. Of course, it's virtual. So, still a little different. I don't know how you all are going to be doing Thanksgiving and any other holidays. My family, it's just going to be our household, but and sometimes you need that's kind of a break. But I just wanted to work with CAB. Who else? We're working with Senior Class Club, and we wanted to put something together that will allow us to come together as an IMSA family. So that was a very long-winded way of saying, and I'll just go over these again quickly, but we're going to have the weekend leading up to Thanksgiving, just a few activities, events, things that you all can participate in with your students. Everything is family friendly in the sense. So the turkey gobbler extravaganza, which took me 2 weeks to, figure out how to say it, just seems like a mouthful to me, kind of like Thanksgiving dinner. But on Friday the 20th, we are going to be hosting this turkey gobbler extravaganza, which students were able to select their favorite faculty members to kind of do a live cooking demonstration. It was initially supposed to be kind of more like Chopped, where they got random ingredients and things like that to make some sort of fun meal, but we figured that would either turn people off or just be overall too difficult. So this is going to allow people to bring their favorite family recipes to IMSA students. And IMSA students and other staff were also able to submit recipes and things that they would like to share in a virtual cookbook of sorts, so that we can share that out with everyone. But that's going to take place from 6 until 7 on the 20th. Then on the 21st, we're having our familiar Feud. But this will be very much like the television game show. We'll have family set up at different times. So, family versus family at, and I don't know, 20-minute increments, I believe. So those of you who were interested in that and do choose to sign up, you'll be given an opportunity to pick your time slot at some point in the next couple days. But that's going to be something fun to watch as well. And this last one, the 5K, hopefully you've seen the emails for that. If anyone has questions on how to register, there's still time to register. We've reached the point, though, you do get a free t-shirt, and we're now beyond the point where you'll get the t-shirt in time for the race, but you'll still get one. So if anyone's interested in that, you actually have the 2 days, either the 21st or the 22nd, to complete your 5K. I have 8 friends, I believe, that are going to be joining me. And so we're going to meet at a common location, masks on and social distancing, of course, but we're going to do our 5K together. So this will be a great opportunity, like I said, for you and your family if you wanted to register, and you all can do the race around the cul-de-sac in your neighborhood or, at your local park. But we wanted, to get beyond Zoom, to be very honest. And so this is something that gets you involved in the IMSA community, but you're doing it on your own time, in your own location, in as safe as possible way. So that's just a quick run through of next weekend, but yeah, next weekend's activities that we want to do to kind of lead you into the Thanksgiving holiday. Another thing that I'd like to share is that, in thinking outside of the Zoom box, we're trying to find ways that we can very, very safely, see our students. And one way that we're considering, and this is literally just the beginning stages of looking at this, prior to winter break, we're looking to do maybe regional pop-ups. So what that would be is, if your community has a tree lighting ceremony, let's say, or if there is tubing, I don't know, this is how early these stages are, then we'll say, okay, we'll be in the Peoria area on Thursday, December, whatever, from 6 until 8, and of course, all of those locations are going to have their own restrictions, of course, social distancing, masks on, but, as an IMSA community, we would like to see if the Peoria area can meet us here, or the Chicago area can meet us in this location, so on and so forth. So that's something that's on our radar, and I'd love to hear any further ideas. if you know of something happening in your community, we'll try to figure out something that's within like an hour's drive of anyone in that region, something safe, cost effective, but definitely family friendly. So that's just one of the ways that we're trying to think outside of the box, get students up and moving to improve mental health, to improve engagement, to improve, just community relations. I know it's very difficult for our sophomores who haven't had their full IMSA experience yet. So they just want to meet someone that's in their Zoom box classroom. So if we could, definitely continue working on that and have any input from our parents, that would be great as well. But that was the end of my presentation. If there's any questions, I'd gladly take those.
Okay, do we have any questions from any parents for Brittany? And Freddie, first of all, thank you very much for those lovely treat bags. I know all of our kids really enjoyed the special surprise and for everything that your department is doing and the connections with the other student groups. So I know there was a question from a parent earlier as you were talking about whether or not all of these different ways that the students can get involved are being shared with the students, and if so, how are you doing that?
Absolutely. So this, the majority of that presentation was actually from our student involvement fair. So that was held, I believe, mid-September. That was sent out to students to participate in, and then they were able to kind of drop in these little Zoom rooms to see the different clubs and organizations. I would absolutely consider doing a spring fair, and again, whether it's in person or in the same format virtually, that will allow students to hear more about that. Additionally, if students are on social media, they have access to IVC IMSA Virtual Campus that will allow them to see if there's an active event happening or if a club has meetings or any type of GA. In addition to putting it on IVC, all clubs are supposed to post any events and meetings on our activities calendar. So as long as they have access to that, they'll be able to go and see what's happening for the week. And then the majority, I would say 95% of our events and activities should also be emailed to all students. So if there's an event coming up, then the club usually emails it they'll probably email it like a week out, and then they'll send a follow-up email probably within 24 to 48 hours of the actual event taking place. But as far as, knowing about all of the different clubs and just how to get access to different clubs, students can go to the Student Council webpage on the IMSA website to learn what clubs are available and how to reach their student leadership. So whether it's the president or whoever maintains their club membership link.
Okay, there was another question. Who does the student contact if they're interested in ISP? If you happen to know?
It would be,
okay, someone was it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it would be Kevin Broy, and I can get his email. I don't know, is it K Broy? Do you know? Andrea, I'm looking at you, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's kbroy@imsa.edu. And then in the chat, I listed the senior in charge of the club. Her name is Francesca Dumitrescu. So any student is able to search in the email address just by typing in their name. So if you can't remember, just start typing in Kevin and it'll pop up, and then Francesca will pop up their emails.
Hi, Brittany. Can I ask a quick question? First of all, thank you for the treat bags. They were awesome. And also, where is the student activity calendar actually located? It sounds like there's an overall calendar.
Yes, it's under student either affairs or student life, and I can put that in the link. But yes, thank you for mentioning a treat bags. We were trying to figure out a way of incorporating Halloween, and we had thought of doing a virtual trick-or-treating night and all these other kind of things. And it just ultimately became easier to, instead of, trying to figure out how we were going to do the trick-or-treating, to just say, you know what, our students, they need a treat at this point. We've gotten a lot of tricks because of COVID. So it was nice to to see some of the replies, and I'm hearing that the students were very receptive to like the little items that were in there. So I'm very happy. Thank you for putting that in there, the activities calendar.
Yes, and if people are on the phone, the activities calendar has been dropped into the chat a couple of times, but just to verbally share it for people who can't see, if you are on the IMSA website and you go to the student life section, there is a section titled student activities. And if you go into the student activities page, there's information about clubs and organizations, the student council website, and on that main page, if you scroll to the bottom, you can see the IMSA activities calendar. And just a quick little shout out, we also have our Assistant Director of Student Engagement and Leadership, Andrea Steiber, joining us today. So just want to say hi to her. She's been putting some information in the chat as Brittany has been providing some updates. I know it's nice to, especially for sophomore parents, perhaps to put faces with some of the names and the email addresses you see so often.
So Brittany, if there are, it seems like there might be parents of sophomores who are going, okay, my child should get involved in some of these activities. So what's the best way for them if, you know, if they want to encourage their students to get involved? Is it easier to email you to have the information, or just to go straight to those pages and have their child reach out?
Yeah, I would definitely start off at the student council page to kind of review all the clubs that are available. It really is nice to see like, you know, what types of varieties of clubs, kind of list those ones that you are interested in the most, to reach out to them, see if they have their meeting times. The one thing about our clubs though, the meetings are typically for the executive board, and then they will put out an event or GA for the rest of the IMSA community to learn more about whatever their topic is or just their club in general. And then from there, the student would be able to attend the GA. So kind of backing up, go to the student council page, find the clubs that they're interested in, reach out to that executive board.
Maria, if I can respond to a couple things in the chat. So there was some feedback in the chat about like, oh my gosh, let's not get together because the cases are rising and all of that. And absolutely, I hope that all of you know that from the beginning of this pandemic, and even if you were with us a few years ago when we had the flu outbreak, we are always making decisions with safety, health and safety and well-being as the top priority. So please know that that's the case. And, you know, we were talking about kind of the central Illinois area. An idea of something that we could do as far as engagement for students would be to say, hey, bundle up and go visit Starved Rock. And here we're going to ask everybody from IMSA who visits Starved Rock in the month of December to take a picture by the sign or in this location, or we're going to provide a trail map for people to follow. And we're going to ask you to take a picture and post it on your social media with a hashtag, or submit it to us. And then in our next newsletter or on our social media page, we're going to show all the IMSA people who went to Starved Rock in the month of December, or who went and did this activity. And so what we're doing right now is we're trying to brainstorm some ways with all of you going into the winter season, when we know people are typically inside more and potentially on screens even more, to maybe step away from that because we've already been inside and we've already been on our screens. So please know that, again, we are like brainstorming and we're coming up with ideas and we want to try some new things. And we are soliciting your input and your feedback. And it's okay if you're like, let's not go this direction. That's okay. We're just trying to see what are all the directions we can take, have a bunch of ideas, make some decisions, and think about timelines from there. So just want to provide some additional clarity and context so that you all know kind of where we're thinking and what we're trying to do. And really it's to find some opportunities to get our students away from the screens in the winter months, which might mean hats and gloves and coats, and that's okay. But what are some ideas that we can brainstorm together?
Wonderful. Are there any other questions from parents? Feel free to unmute yourselves and ask. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brittany, for that very comprehensive look at everything that IMSA offers to students. I think a lot of us with our sending our kids to IMSA did not realize with a smaller population for some of the high schools that they were coming from that IMSA would offer so many different clubs and ways to get involved. So thank you for that. And also for parents, now you may understand why you don't see your child some evenings or weekends because they're probably in meetings, but fun ones. Wonderful. So Brittany, would you mind sharing your email in the chat box in case some parents have questions for you?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you. And as with the last meeting, I will save the chat and compile the link and send it out with the recap along with the video. So don't worry, for those of you who are not able to see the chat, we'll share the links with you as well. Okay.
There's someone on a phone who has submitted the question. Does anyone know of IMSA's announcement about the spring 2021 decision, remote study or back to school? Can someone address that real quick? They may be on the phone.
Katie, would you like to take that one?
Yes, so that decision will be a part of the conversation at the board meeting on November 18th. So this coming Wednesday. I did reply to that person directly, and I think Andrea may have replied publicly as well. But all the decisions about in-person, distance learning, repopulation timelines, all of that, please tune into the board meeting to hear the live and in-person. Live, I don't know why I said in person, live update, and then also look out for communication following that board meeting with the outcome. So hang tight. Next week is kind of the week that we should have some more clarity on that. And as I said earlier, that will then allow us to provide the updated spring calendar and all of those items. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I'll give just one additional minute if there's anybody that has any other questions before we end the meeting for today. Okay. Well, thanks again to everybody for taking the time out to meet with us today. And thank you to all of our guests that gave us updates today. And also thank you to the PAC Leadership Board team for everything that you're doing to get things moving and shaking still. And I hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay healthy. And we will see you on December 5th. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.